But I won't be when I set the tempo. Kawasaki, will you?
When I've got some cold water in me.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Hang on, cold water. Coffee place is bound to have cold water. Yeah, and I said we'd be here for Harry, so.
Usually it's much more calm. Can you take a picture? I'm like, oh, absolutely. Give me your phone. Let me take a picture.
No, I was born in the Congo, or it was the Congo and then became Zaire. My parents decided that they were going to go down to the Congo where the Belgians were actually committing a form of genocide. They were literally doing things like setting up massive rubber plantations and gold mines and things like that. And what they were doing there was they were sending out young men to make their fortunes. These young men had no training, no idea about how to deal with Africa and Africans. And if somebody was late for work, they'd chop his hand off. That's all, just 3 things. The first is, take care of your bike. So in other words, learn how to do things like change the oils and the filter. It doesn't matter whether you're a good mechanic or not. Take care of your bike and your bike is going to take care of you. The second thing is, make sure that you can sleep properly. And the third thing is make sure that you can eat properly. With those things you can travel with a smile, and they are all simple to do, aren't they? We all know how to sleep. We know the value of a decent sleeping bag, a decent sleeping mat, and we know the value of a nice cup of tea.
I just remember the second piece of advice you gave us. Lisa and I had no clue. We hadn't done a big bike journey, weekends. And there was a couple that we spoke to and we said, what kind of tent should we take? And they said, well, you want the smallest, lightest tent possible. Everything has to be super small. You know, you don't want to be carrying shit, blah, blah, blah. And then a few weeks later on, we bumped into Sam. It was an event, and we said, okay, the exact same question, what kind of tent? And he went, take the biggest, most expansive tent you can. You're going to find yourselves in situations where you're cold or hot or tired or ill, and no matter how good your relationship, you're going to want that space, or you're going to have to live in it for days or weeks whilst the monsoon passes. Sam and Birgit lasted 8 years, the other couple lasted 6 months only and then called it a day. So the words of wisdom that came out of your mouth, I think, are partly responsible for how long we were able to maintain our journey. Well, and I mean that genuinely.
I'm really chuffed.
Wow, look at this crowd. Incredible.
Hey James.
Hello Nora Lee. Welcome to the...
You know, writing and making my videos, I am itchy boots. But there's of course also a private part that I always feel like, okay, this is mine, you know, like I feel like you don't have to throw everything about your life on the internet.
Well, I will say, might be ABR, but I'm never leaving my keys in my bike. Yeah, look at that. Well, you know, we were like, oh, I won't get nicked, you'll be fine. God, I'm never leaving my bike in my key again at ABR.
Never leaving your key in your bike again, not your bike in your key. It doesn't work that way around.
It doesn't matter whether you're ABR or not. No.